almost here, but so is the regular season as we're counting down the days remaining in Arizona and less than a handful to go. Kirsten Watson now telling us what's happening with the Dodgers roster as we get late in spring training.
Yes, Tim. So look, we're 10 days from opening day. Going into today, the camp roster was at 43. It's currently now at 41 as both Zach McKinstry and Andy Burns were just optioned. But we also received some other news today about the roster. Phil Bickford, he's a player that we have not seen play in a spring training game just yet. And we've been told that he's not dealing with an injury just yet, but he is someone that it's taking him just a little bit more time. He had some arm soreness in this offseason, so he's likely not going to be ready for opening day, guys.
That was the news this morning from Dave Roberts. And there's so many pitchers in camp that still haven't even seen some in games yet, believe it or not. David Price has not pitched in a Cactus League game. He'll go tomorrow, we understand, against Cleveland. But Mark Kotsay has written the lineup up this way. Old friend Billy McKinney will come out to start things off. He was with the Dodgers for a while last year. Stephen Vogt was with the Diamondbacks, the A's before that. Bay Area guy. He's back with Oakland. Ramon Laureano, Eric Thames, Christian Lopes, Dalton Kelly, Sheldon Noisy, who was with the Dodgers last year, back with the A's. He'll be at third base. Christian Pache, the former Atlanta Brave, in there, as well as Kevin Smith, the shortstop. And Tony Gonsolin, 13 starts, 15 appearances a season ago, went 4-1. Opponent average 202. And again, coming off an extremely effective performance on Thursday.
That splitter is the big pitch, but he sets it up very nicely, and he did on Thursday. In fact, the two guys we talked about really at the top of the broadcast with Gonsolin and then Anderson to follow. Combined in their 6 innings, they struck out 11. Gonsolin with 4, and then Anderson with 7. And for Mark Pryor, the pitching coach, he says, look, these guys have really been on the money. The question is now, can they repeat? And for Gonsolin, again, his big deal is if he throws strikes, he can be tough because it controls the strike zone.
So the Catman ready to go. Dodgers back to their blue unis at home. Last time at home, they wore their home whites on Sunday afternoon. Coming off a game yesterday against the Diamondbacks, which they were on the wrong side of a 5-3 score. But the best news about yesterday's game was Clayton Kershaw's performance. He was very good. First pitch of tonight's as Gonsolin deals high to McKinney, and we are underway at 6:05 in the evening. A beautiful evening. Breeze blowing out to left center field. 10 to 15 miles an hour right now. A little high, and it's 2-0. I'm glad you're with us on the radio TV simulcast. Listening to the Dodgers, watching the Dodgers, wherever you happen to be. As McKinney waits in the 2-0. That one drops in for a strike. Adam Hammery calling the balls and strikes. Todd Tishner, the umpire at first. Nick Lentz is at second. Nick Marley is the umpire at third. The base umpires will rotate during the course of the game. And the 2-1 pitch. This one's lined into right center for a base hit. Bellinger to grab it. Billy McKinney with a base hit.
Well, for the A's, a new look. There's no question about that. Yes, you mentioned Kotsay is now the manager. But they had departing. You talk about, well, people leaving. Starling Marte, Homer Bailey, Andrew Chafin, Jake Diekman, Mark Canha, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison, Mitch Moreland.
Just to name a few.
New look A's.
And it might be counting. Here is the veteran catcher Stephen Vogt. Man on, nobody out, top of the first. Big swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Fact for the Oakland A's, do you realize that they do not have a player under contract beyond this season? They have 2 players that have different kinds of options. Elvis Andrus has a vesting option. Stephen Piscotty has a club option for 2023, but that is it. A swing and a miss as Vogt chased that one downstairs, and it's 0-2.
Well, the A's have been rather remarkable. You begin to look at the last number of years on top of it. And for Kotsay, he understands exactly what he is inheriting. Will there be a change of venue for Oakland? Or are they going to move to another city?
That's been a big conversation for a number of years. As Vogt fouls one off, and more recently, the A's have seemed to focus their attention on Las Vegas. They have looked at several pieces of land. They would prefer what's called the resort corridor, which is essentially known as the Las Vegas Strip. There's a couple of areas they've looked at there, but the Howard Terminal section in Oakland is certainly a viable alternative. So they're either going to be in Oakland or Vegas at one time or another. As Vogt rolls it into right field past a diving Gavin Lux. And a base hit. McKinney goes first to third. So the swinging A's come out swinging.
Well, they try to go really a couple of different locations, including just a little bit north of Jack London Square. If you're looking at Oakland, they're going to move their ballpark. The shift is on, but able to squeak it through on top of it.
So Vogt is aboard, 2 on, and nobody out. And here is the right fielder, Ramon Laureano. And runners at first and third. Billy McKinney went down to third on the hit by Vogt. So the A's threatening. And when you look at what has happened in Oakland, they have lost the Raiders, ironically, to Las Vegas. They've lost the Warriors going across the bay to San Francisco. Could they lose the A's?
Well, at one time they had a hockey team also.
The Golden Seals, yeah. This one's fouled off.
But it's rather unique. When you look at Oakland, they've been able to sign players, younger players, develop. Maybe they've acquired players also in the interim between developing some of the youngsters that they have signed, and they have won. You know, Bob Melvin opted out of his tenure, but in Melvin's 11 years, A's went to the playoffs 6 of those 11 years.
1-1 from Gonsolin is hit in the air to center field. Going back after it, Bellinger. He'll make the catch. McKinney will tag. He'll come in and score, and sacrifice fly from Laureano makes it 1-0 Oakland.
Well, already one difference in Gonsolin tonight versus Thursday when we saw him go against the Rockies. He had the ball down on Thursday. So far, he's had the ball up in the strike zone, and that's not his bread and butter. Not for a guy that really relies upon that splitter.
Eric Thames. This is a power hitting first baseman DH type who was there to take a curveball for a strike. He was with Milwaukee for a while, had some good years, but he really learned how to hit the home run over in Korea several years ago. And have you ever heard this guy sing, by the way?
No.
My
I hear he's very good.
Goodness, is he good? Yeah. In fact, that show, The Masked Singer, he was on the original version in Korea. He was so popular there that he was one of the main contestants on that show at one time. 1-1 to Thames. That is in the dirt. And the count goes to 2-1. Vogt hangs out at first base. So Oakland so far in Cactus League play. They've got the worst record in the Cactus League, 2-7-1. Another ball in the dirt from Gonsolin. Snap throw down to first by Will Smith. Vogt gets back.
The fastball has been up and the splitter has been in the dirt.
Will Smith with a good stop. Will celebrated his birthday a couple of days ago. Or was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yesterday. Turned 27.
And yesterday's gone.
Now he's working on 28. Thames hammers one toward the right field corner, and that one is going to be off the wall. Kevin Pillar grabs it. Vogt on his horse around third. He'll head to the plate. Nope, he'll be called back to third. So Thames in with a double. And now runners at second and third and 1 out as Tony's given up 3 hits already.
And he continues to get the ball up in the strike zone. Well, you throw the ball up and out over the plate to the big man, and he pounced all over it.
We'll see how it goes for Eric Thames this year with Oakland. You got to figure he's going to help him out somehow. That power bat. Christian Lopes, the second baseman, .333 hitter in spring training. Breaking ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Lopes with a home run. 4 runs batted in. There's the 3 extra base hits this spring for Oakland, who train on the other side of the valley in Mesa. Another curveball taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year at AAA, a .271 hitter. One pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, many would look at the Oakland A's as over the last number of years they have been one of the better kept secrets in baseball. Again, having gone to postseason 6 of the last 11 years. That was under the guidance of Bob Melvin. But they have always struggled with the attendance, and last year they were 29th in Major League Baseball and fans being drawn to the ballpark.
Yeah, you know, you've been a part of both of these organizations. You were a kid when you were part of the A's organization. You finished up with the Dodgers. And see Mark Kotsay. Brad Ausmus was there right next to him.
Well, for so many years they were known, Tim, as the other team in the Bay Area. It was across the bay. San Francisco Giants, obviously very well adjusted. The A's went from Kansas City to Oakland in 1968. It was their first year on the West Coast.
Swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Lopes.
Well, that's the Tony Gonsolin that's able to change speeds. He also got the fastball down. Interesting. He missed the curveball the first pitch. They came right back again with a curveball, got the strike. Maybe that's going to get him back on track.
Here's one difference, too. He's thrown 21 pitches so far in the top of the first inning. In his 3 innings of work Thursday against Colorado, he threw 23 pitches in his entire outing. So it's only a little behind schedule in terms of the pitch count there. Thames leading at second base, held on by Turner. This is Dalton Kelly at first base. And he takes strike 1.
And another curveball and a good one.
The curveball's getting some life to it. But once he's leaving up, the fastball especially has been getting hit. And that one gets hit on the ground right side off the glove of Freeman. He collects it, throws to first in time to Gonsolin for the out. Salvages just the 1 run. Dodgers coming to bat when we return. The first 1-0 Oakland. And Freddie Freeman, he's a Gold Glover for a reason. Doesn't matter if there's an umpire in the way or not. Todd Tishner was able to skip out of the way, and Tony Gonsolin continued on his path to first base. And they record the out. It took him 23 pitches, and 15 of those 23 good for strikes for Tony to get out of that inning. Now Trey Turner leading off, and Freeman to follow. And the lefty Minaya starts him off with a strike. Minaya had 2 complete games last year. That's a rarity. To the right side, and a base hit for Turner.
Well, yesterday I proposed the question, defensively, how do you line up against Trey Turner? He'll hit the ball all over the ballpark. This time he goes to right field, so I go to left center, right center, down the left field line.
Freeman, home run, 2 RBIs, hitting .308 this spring. First ball swinging, slaps a foul.
And Freeman said, look, his deal is he tries to think, at least mechanically, to hit the ball to left center field. The numbers will bear that out. He hit the ball the opposite way about 26% of the time last year. He did not pull the ball as much as he hit it to center field either.
And this time pulled to the right side. Only play is to Minaya at first base as Lopes throws it over there. They get 1 out, but Turner advances to second.
Isn't that the norm? You talk about, well, he normally doesn't pull the ball. The very next pitch, he pulls the ball and he hits it on the ground. But for Freeman, he's another guy, too. So how do you defense him? Well, I think a big question is, how are you going to pitch to him? Initially, when he first came up, it was the high, hard one, up and in, which anybody that comes up, that's a difficult pitch to hit.
Justin Turner, he is back out on the field today playing third base. He was the designated hitter yesterday. One out, tying run at second. Manaea out of Indiana State, Terre Haute, Indiana. Pitch outside to JT. First round pick for Manaea, 34th overall in 2013 by Kansas City.
Well, he's a guy that just peppers the strike zone. If anything, scouts are saying, well, the curveball could be more consistent. But tailing fastball, he will change speeds as well. And you mentioned the 2 complete games. He can be really a workhorse in this staff.
Wasn't that long ago he pitched a no-hitter. April 21st, 2018 against Boston. So he can eat some innings when he's going right.
And normally doesn't walk a lot of guys. Oh, he'll give up a home run here and there, but he's a guy that kind of selects it with nobody on base when he can challenge hitters. 25 home runs last year, but he does not give many free passes.
2-1, and Turner takes outside. 3 balls and a strike to Justin Turner. 3-1 to JT, who so far hitting .222. Stands in there from the right side. Vogt down to a knee. The catcher sets the target, and a strike call at the knees. That'll fill the count. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count to Justin Turner with Trey Turner out there at second base. Manaea deals, and this ball fisted foul first base side. I remember the night that Manaea pitched his no-hitter. I was in the ballpark that night, and I remember being on the field prior to the game right in front of the Oakland dugout. And I just noticed because I saw Dallas Braden there at the perfect game. And he was talking to Raleigh Fingers, who finished up Vita Blues on the last day of the '75 season. I just had that thought, boy, there's 2 guys who are involved in an A's no-hitter. And wouldn't you know it, that night, Manaea threw one. This ball hit toward the middle. And that is grabbed by the shortstop, Kevin Smith. Throws off target, but in time enough. And Turner is out. That moves Trey Turner to third base. 6-3 put out. And now Max Muncy will come up for the Dodgers. He's 2 for 10. 5 walks, though. He does have some deep at bats. And Manaea, left on left matchup here. Pitch to Max inside corner for a strike.
Well, for Muncy, he's going to get different looks. You know, how often does he possibly spell Freeman, who's really a workhorse at first base, doesn't take that many days off? How many games will Muncy play at second base? How many at third?
No balls, 2 strikes to Max.
And Muncy's one of those guys that hit well against lefties. In fact, higher against left-handers, 36 points higher, 276 against lefties. With 11 home runs, hit .240 against right-handers.
Manaea's 0-2's fouled back. Yeah, but your point about how many games will he play where is really something that, you know, keep an eye on all season.
It's going to be varied in the National League for all the managers,
right,
because now you're talking about the designated hitter in the National League,
which changes a number of things that many people may or may not think about normally. 0-2 pitch. Fouled back. We talked about it during yesterday's simulcast, Rick. You know, what does this do now in the National League to the number 8 hitter in that position? How does it change the 8th spot in the batting order, batting in front of the pitcher? It changes it quite a bit.
Well, especially if you got runners on base and you have a base that's open, in particular in first, you're not going to be issuing walks to get to the number 9 hitter.
Once he looks at it outside, plus the fact that, you know, you want to have a strong bench, but there's not going to be as many pinch hitting opportunities as there would be normally.
And that's why you're going to and consider too is that you had the lockout. National League teams were not constructed for a designated hitter.
And once he strikes out, Dodgers leave the tying run at third. After a full inning at Camelback Ranch, it's the A's 1 and the Dodgers nothing. 1-0 Oakland, top of the second inning. Pitchers talking about grips. Does the ball spin?
You can always tell the ones that are not going to be pitching in tonight's ball game. They're wearing watches.
They are spectators tonight and students. So Tony Gonsolin starts his second inning of work facing Sheldon Neuse, who the Dodgers may remember from last year. He was with Oakland prior to that. Came over in the deal for Adam Kolarek and then ended up being picked up off of waivers by his old club, the A's. So back with him. And he is behind in the count, 0-2. Tony Gonsolin ahead.
That shot that we got a moment ago about, okay, the breaking ball and trying to get the spin on the ball. Consider the fact, too, is that Clayton Kershaw has changed the grip on his changeup this year. And Kershaw also refined the changeup for 2 continuous years before he actually used it in a major league game. So pitchers are always looking. Well, what about your grip? Well, I do it this way. What about your grip? And then they try it and try and find ways to master what works best for them.
1-2 to Neuse up high.
And Will Smith gave the 1930s rendition of positioning for a high fastball. It was not in a crouch. Looked like he was a volleyball player waiting for the serve to come his way.
Splitter is fouled back. See, Tony starts all the time with that split grip.
But that conversation is still going on. What happens when you grip it this way and, you know, spin rate? How does the ball come out of your hand? How does it affect the flight of the baseball? And sometimes you just hit upon something that's like, oh my goodness, the light gets turned on. Years ago, there was a photo of a Dodger player, and I'm trying to recall his name. They were still in Vero Beach in spring training, and there was a photo that ran in the paper of an outfielder throwing the baseball home. So, okay, big deal.
Neuse lines it into right center field, and that's going to split the outfielders. Neuse around first. He's heading for second. Bellinger will retrieve the baseball, and it's a leadoff stand-up double for Sheldon Neuse.
So this outfielder that had his photo in the paper during spring training down in Florida was making a throw home. But I noticed something. It's when Jim Tracy was the manager. And I went in, I took the photo with me, the newspaper with me the next day. I went, Skipper, we got an issue here. He said, what do you see? I said, this is a capture right at the release point of an outfielder. He only has one finger on the baseball. The index finger was off the baseball.
Huh.
They looked at the photo, they worked with the kid, and they said, well, this is the way he was taught to throw it.
Christian Pache, the batter, breaking ball strike. Is that right?
And a lot of things you take for granted, but who taught some of these younger players? What is their background? You assume they don't know a lot when you're trying to teach them earlier on.
Stretched by Gonsolin, his pitch fouled back, 0-2. But as an outfielder, you correct me if I'm wrong, you'd know better than I would, but you're taught to have that cross seam grip so the ball will go straight, right?
Actually ran across a pitcher in Instruction League once. Did the same thing. He was with the Atlanta Braves organization. I said, hey, wait a minute. We're going to take some video, and looked at the video. He threw the ball with one finger on the baseball. Got great movement. Didn't know where it was going.
Pache line shot, takes a hop in front of Lux. And then he'll throw on to Freeman for the out. One gone. Runner holds at second. That's noisy.
But what has been the instructional level of younger players when they're coming on? And then when you acquire a player from another organization, what do they know? For example, how well do they execute and understand rundowns, cutoffs, and relays, which you can really get yourself maybe out of an inning if you're executing the fundamentals the right way. And some guys don't understand the fundamentals even though they come up in higher classification.
Here's Kevin Smith, a shortstop, ninth batter. He goes up there swinging, pops it up. Freeman, but Lux has a better angle on it. He'll make the catch, and they quickly get it back in to hold Noisy at second. 2 now.
Gonsolin now getting the ball down a little bit. Gavin Lux. Now that's an interesting story as well. I mean, he had basically the second base position was his a couple of years ago, but he did not have a good enough spring to say, hey, look, that position is mine. So he has been working also in the outfield. We've seen him play a couple of spring training games in the outfield. Where will Lux be, and how often at which positions?
Billy McKinney is 1 for 1. Had a base hit. He scored the game's only run. Left-handed batter takes a curve low, ball 1.
Both Gonsolin and his catcher Smith, it's like they took a big breath when that pitch was called a ball, not a strike.
So Will
looked like he was having a little conversation with Adam Hammer, the home plate umpire.
Fouled off.
So you'd be the umpire. We know the pitcher and catcher thought this was a good one, but the hitter and the umpire said no. You call it a ball. It will forever be a ball.
Adam's been a full-time big league umpire for a few years now. He's been one of the really good younger ones. McKinney waits for a 1-1 pitch. Pops it up, and it'll go to shallow right center field. Coming in is Bellinger. He'll make the catch. And the side retired. No runs, a hit, a man left after an inning and a half. It's Oakland 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Oakland, Dodgers second time up. Just 1 hit, and that belongs to Trey Turner. Here's Will Smith facing Sean Manaea. And it's 0-1 as Smith takes the strike. Will hitting .214 this spring. 3 out of 14, a pair of home runs. So 2 of his 3 hits have left the yard. Takes a healthy cut at a fastball there, and it's 0-2. So Manaea, left-hander, digging in on top of the mound. He'll face Will Smith, Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger this inning. And Will hits one high in the air to right field. Backing up on it is Ramon Laureano, and he's got it for the out. 1 gone. Chris Taylor making the start in the outfield for the first time in Cactus League play. I saw enough of Stephen Vogt last year with the Diamondbacks to know him pretty well. They're having a slight conversation. And in case you missed it earlier, Kirsten reporting a couple of Dodger roster moves earlier today. Andy Burns sent to minor league camp, and Zach McKinstry also sent to minor league camp.
And the number now for Dave Roberts, 41 players left in camp.
Foul ball past third. 1 ball, 1 strike to Chris Taylor. Got to get it to 28 by opening day. So still
the additional 2 players for a period of time.
I know we've mentioned it here, but it's worth mentioning again. The rule that states this year with the new collective bargaining agreement, 1-1, and that's in for a strike call, a fastball, says you can only be called up and back 5 times this year. However, because of the shortened spring training and because of the 2 additional players for the first couple of weeks of the season, That's not going to count for the first couple of weeks for the season. So at the end of the year, you might see where someone might have been called up 6 or 7 times. You say, hey, wait a minute, the rule's only 5. Well, the Players Union in baseball said that for the first couple of weeks, it's going to be okay if you need the extra arms or whatnot. And Taylor down on strikes. Swing and a miss for Chris, 2 down. Second strikeout for Manaea tonight.
And teams that did not have their minor league affiliates fairly close to either where their home ballparks are or where they are traveling to at any particular time. Scott Akasaka, the Dodgers director of team travel, says, you know, with reduced airline flights, moving players back and forth has become very problematic.
Cody Bellinger takes inside. So 2 out spaces.
Speaking of problematic, it has been the swing has been problematic for Cody Bellinger so far this spring.
Getting back to your other point about Scott booking travel, he's right. He is very right. Strike to Bellinger. You know, there's, I think, only 1 or 2 airlines that'll fly from LAX to Oklahoma City nonstop now. Just looking at it the other day, and I was surprised. Most of them, you got to go somewhere else and connect. So that's the Dodgers situation, their AAA affiliate.
Well, for those that maybe have not been with us, and even those that have been with us, Cody Bellinger came to camp, and there were 3 changes he told us about and showed us. His feet wider apart, his hands choking up on the bat about 3 inches, the bat more upright. Then 3 days ago, he went with the bat back over parallel with the ground. Well, he has changed it again. It's not vertical, but it's not parallel with the ground as far as the bat angle.
1-2, swing and a miss. Strike 3, 16th time this spring that Cody has gone out on strikes. Dodgers retired in order in the 2nd inning, still down 1-0.
The Los Angeles Dodgers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers.
A's with a 1-0 lead over the Dodgers. New sheriff in town in the outfield. So he was waiting for some ground ball. Having a great time out on the outfield grass. Stephen Vogt leads off for Oakland against Tony Gonsolin as we start the 3rd inning. Spring racing is in full swing at Santa Anita Park. Racing takes place Friday through Sunday, including the Santa Anita Spring Carnival spinning up April 2nd. And the Run Happy Santa Anita Derby April 9th. With fun experiences and millions in payouts every race day, explore what's next at santaanita.com/events. 1-1 pitch to the left-handed hitting catcher Vogt. He goes the other way and fouls it down the left field side way up in the seats. Vogt was signed last week. So he just came back. Grounds it to Freeman. First baseman backhands it. Underhand toss to Gonsolin covering. And Vogt is out. 1 gone in the A's 3rd.
A's over the years have gone through a lot of different changes, and some of those changes have been with the uniforms. They went with the sleeveless uniforms there for a while with Kansas City. They brought them also to Oakland. But when Charlie Finley had the club and they moved out to Oakland, the gray uniforms, no, that wasn't good enough for Charlie. The gray uniforms were Pacific Ocean Misty Green.
That was the official color, right?
Mm-hmm. And then the wedding gown white.
Wedding gown white.
And on the road and mixed in occasionally at home was the Fort Knox gold. Remember, 1 year in Kansas City, all of the coaches and a manager wore white hats.
Now, wasn't that so he knew where they were at all times? He could spot them?
He didn't say that, but that's basically what it was.
Yeah. That the coaches would stand out, so it would be easier to pick out.
And Charlie sat, when he was in town, he would sit in the first row behind the third base dugout, and he had a phone that was connected 2 feet away to the dugout.
Ramon Laureano, the batter, sacrifice fly and a run batted in the first. 2-1 count on him.
Charlie did a lot of, well, headline things.
This one's lined to left. It's going to get down one hop in front of Chris Taylor and a base hit. 1-out single for Laureano.
Such as when they moved from Kansas City to Oakland, they had a button in the ground behind home plate in the dirt area. The umpires could go back, step on the button, trap door would come out, and there would be a rabbit that came out that was holding a basket. And in the basket was the baseballs for the umpire. So they moved the system to Oakland. But it didn't work. Something happened in transit. So Charlie, not wanting to miss an opportunity, held a funeral for the rabbit.
Eric Thames takes
and you know where that was held?
Where was that held?
In the current media dining room.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Really? I did not know that was the scene of the rabbit's funeral.
His demise. The system just did not work.
Did they serve Hassenpfeffer that night?
No. It was a solemn afternoon.
Rabbit stew, maybe? No wonder some of the guys bypass the media room now. They go out to the food trucks that are outside.
He came up with the idea. Red talks about Rollie Fingers. You mentioned Rollie a few minutes ago. And consider the fact that Rollie Fingers, I mean, the Hall of Fame reliever, but Rollie was a starting pitcher. And when Bill Posdell was the pitching coach, told him, hey, we've decided to move you to the bullpen. Rollie was not happy. It turned out to be the best decision ever made for him.
Worked out great for him, didn't it? 1-1 to Thames. Breaking ball. He watched it for a strike, and it's 1-2. 1 on and 1 out. Top of the third. Oakland 1, Dodgers nothing.
But the mustache with Rollie Fingers because Charlie said, hey, look, I'll give you guys, I forget, it was $100, $200, whatever it was. Everybody that grows a mustache. So Rollie was front and center with that.
1-2. Low and in. 2-2. Now, I know he asked you to grow a mustache also, and you refused.
I turned it down.
And of course, the natural follow-up question here is, why did you turn it down? Why didn't you take the $100 and
I didn't want to
grow the mustache?
Have a mustache.
The Rick Monday mustache. That would have been.
Oh yeah, real cute.
That would have been popular. So it's slapped the other way, and Taylor will get behind it, get it in there, as Laureano stops at second base.
But for added excitement, Charlie Finley also hired a gentleman that was in the left field area right behind the fence. There was a bell that they took off an old steam locomotive. And the gentleman was Engineer Bill, who was in the entire garb that you would have if you were running a steam engine. And every time an A's would hit a home run, Engineer Bill, his duty was to wave a red handkerchief. And he did it very well for a lot of games. And then one night.
Pitch to Lopes. He swings and hits it to left field. It's sinking, and it drops right in front of Taylor. It hung up there, but Chris broke back and then started in. He wasn't able to get to the baseball, so that'll be a base hit for Lopes.
Yeah,
and now the bases are loaded.
Looked like this ball had some top spin. You see the trajectory go off the bat. You think, it's going to have backspin. It's going to carry. Well, this one evidently has some top spin on it, and it did not carry. So Engineer Bill, home run was hit by an A's player. As Dave's going out, he would wave it back and forth. But one night there was a home run ball that was hit only 5 feet from Engineer Bill. He had a decision. Do I wave the red flag, the handkerchief, or to go get the baseball? Well, he went to get the baseball. He was fired the next day.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Well, Tony will take a break. Tony Gonsolin out. A's up 1-0. Justin Brule coming in. Regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv online or your favorite supported devices, as well as select spring training games. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Left-hander Justin Brule out there tonight making his next spring training appearance, his last one, 2 2/3 scoreless. So he's been pretty good so far. Tough start for Tony Gonsolin. Only lasted 2 1/3, but the book's still wide open on him. A's with the bases loaded, and Dalton Kelly fouls it down the first base side. So Laureano is at third base, Thames is at second, Lopes is at first, and Kelly at the plate with one man out. Off of Tony Gonsolin tonight, the A's went 7 for 13. They hit .538 against him. His ERA for the spring currently sitting at 1.69. It started at 0, and if Brule can get out of this somehow, it'll stay where it is. Pitch outside, and it's 1-1.
We've only seen Brule a few different times so far this spring. The curveball that he just threw is rather interesting to left-handed batters in particular because it just keeps sweeping away from them.
Brule made his major league debut with the Dodgers last August 8th. Continued to have some good performances out of the pen. Really was one of those surprise guys. You don't get a chance to see him during the season. We didn't see him till the 8th of August, and you always hope for the best for guys who are called up. And it seemed to work out pretty well for Brule. 2-ball, 1-strike pitch to the left-handed hitting Dalton Kelly. He'll take a strike. 2-2.
What we noticed about Brule last year is that when he came on, he seemed to have a very slow heart rate. And by that, I'm talking about he did not look like he was overmatched, or at least on the outside. There may have been a volcano going off inside. But the outward appearance, he looked comfortable. Did not appear to be, now I'm in the major leagues.
He made his debut against the Angels. But he had 21 appearances, and in those 21 appearances, he allowed only runs in 3 of those. So, not bad. Curveball hits him. And Kelly trots down to first, and trotting home, Laureano forced in on the hit by pitch. It's 2-0 Oakland.
Unfortunately, this breaking ball did not sweep away from the lefty.
That run will be charged to Tony Gonsolin. Sheldon Neuse hit a gap double to right center in his first at bat in the second inning. 1 for 1. It's a high fly ball to right, drifting over toward the line. Now backpedaling is Kevin Pillar. He gets underneath it. Thames will tag from third and score. It's 3-0 Oakland. Sacrifice fly and a run batted in for Neuse. His third run batted in this spring. 2 outs, and Christian Pache will come up, center fielder. And Gonsolin in the dugout, reflecting on his start tonight. Funny thing, this game of baseball, you can be dominant one day and get dominated the next. So Brule pitching to the right-handed Pache. First pitch down low, 1-0. First and third, 2 down. Dodgers have yet to go through the batting order in this ball game. The 8-9 hitters still have not come up. Gavin Lux will lead off. Kevin Pillar will follow. Then Trey Turner will have his second at bat in the bottom of the third inning.
It's a long night at the ranch when you're looking out and say, well, I haven't batted yet, and they're getting close to the third time to the lineup.
This is the number 8 hitter's second time up for Oakland, but the Dodgers have not had their 8 hitter up. So might not mean anything come the 9th inning. Long way to go tonight. 3-0 pitch. Pache takes inside. The count's got to be different. So Brule ready to go on the left-hander's stretch, and the pitch. And there's a strike. talking about possible relocation for Oakland. That's just got to be such a sore subject in the Bay Area. Oakland fans everywhere. Now that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded again. And it may not happen. I mean, it may or it may not happen, but you know, Major League Baseball has been working hard for the last number of years to try to get not just the Oakland ballpark situation handled, but the Tampa Bay one too.
And what happens to the fan base in both of those areas?
Right. I mean, in the Tampa Bay situation, they have given up on that split city deal. They wanted to split the schedule between St. Pete and Montreal. They've given up on that. Now they're concentrating just on the Tampa Bay area. Kevin Smith, shortstop, right-handed batter, takes low and in. But the big question will be in the next little while, and I'm not sure what the timetable is for Oakland or Alameda County or ball club or Major League Baseball as we sit here tonight and talk, but the A's have made it very clear that they have their eyes set on Las Vegas. Strike called. Reports are, there have been several reports that they've actually made offers, gone so far as to make offers on pieces of land. Doesn't mean they bought them.
It doesn't cost you anything to
make an offer. But
unless there's earnest money involved.
But that's what's been in the news.
But at the same time, I mean, you're looking at the fan base. You're also looking at last year. They were 23rd in Major League Baseball in their payroll. They had 8 known players leave. So where does that leave them for 2022?
2-ball, 1-strike pitch to Smith, and it is low. Justin Bruihl struggling out of the Dodger bullpen to find the strike zone. We were expecting, as far as the script goes, if the script was going to go according to it, sometimes it just doesn't. We would have seen 3 innings or so, maybe more, out of Tony Gonsolin. And then right after that, Tyler Anderson. But Bruihl had to take over after Gonsolin only lasted 2 1/3. Strike snapped in there to Smith. 3-1.
The plan, the proverbial plan, just like a fighter.
Right.
He's got a plan. Everybody's got a plan. Till they get hit in the mouth. Then that plan may change.
Exactly. Payoff pitch. And a bouncer foul. But that's the thing about spring training games too, is that teams don't get so hung up on the scores. Yeah, they want to win, but it's a preparation exercise, and the pitchers are generally scripted as to when they'll come in the game. The backup players are generally scripted as to what inning they're going to come into the game.
It's practice under competition terms.
Payoff pitch, and that one's hit hard toward Trey Turner. Backhands it, throws on a hop burst, and that's too late. Smith is safe, and scoring is Lopes. The A's now have built a 4-0 lead.
For Trey Turner at shortstop, playing a little bit in the hole to begin with. Really no chance to throw out the runner, but the fact that he gets to the baseball. Now Trey Turner moving, came over, and obviously with Corey Seager, the shortstop. Seager has departed, gone elsewhere, but you're going to see more range at shortstop with Trey Turner. Yeah, for them to be able to understand on the left side of the infield whether it's going to be Justin Turner playing at third base. Turner will also pretty certain that he will be in the designated hitter role to get him off of his feet here and there. But for Turner, he's a guy that Dave Roberts understands very well. Dave, by the way, if you look at the lineup, it looks pretty much as if he is set on having Mookie Betts as the leadoff hitter, Freddie Freeman as the number 2 hitter, and then Trey Turner as the number 3 hitter. And where he goes from there will probably be dependent upon who's pitching.
Right. Leadoff man Billy McKinney strokes one right to Freddie Freeman. Great backhanded stab for the newest Dodger acquisition. couple more runs come in. It's 4-0 Oakland as we go to the bottom of the third. Tony Gonsolin heading out to the bullpen. He'll continue some work out there. Didn't get all his pitches in tonight before he had to leave, but his book is closed. He will be charged with 4 earned runs tonight. So his ERA went from 0 up to 6.75 in his second appearance in the Cactus League. Gavin Lux batting for the Dodgers in the bottom of the third inning. 4-0 Oakland. Sean Manaea has been on cruise control here in the first 2 innings, retiring the side in order in the second. He has struck out 3 so far in the game. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lux. He's hitting .091 in spring with a home run and 2 runs batted in.
We've not seen Lux in a lot of the spring games that we have been doing the broadcast. He's been playing on the backfields, getting a lot of extra work. But again, his workload has been not only at second base but outfield.
He couldn't hold up. He goes around. He strikes out. So Lux is out on strikes. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Manaea. 4 in the game.
Well, trying to get the bat going, and lefty against lefty, and can't hold up.
When you look at Manaea's delivery as Kevin Pillar steps in, number 9 hitter, first time he's had a plate appearance tonight. But when you look at it, you know, from a guy who made his living hitting from the left side, what kind of problems can he present to you in terms of picking up the ball?
I'm not at home plate, not facing, but I'd be surprised if hitters are not taken a little by surprise, because he has a very fluid delivery, doesn't throw the ball like his hair is on fire. And he's got a lot of hair. And if it were on fire, he'd really be going fast to home plate. But it's very rhythmic. And I'm not certain that you can really pick up from his delivery. Can you pick up the breaking ball exceptionally well?
Now, lefties so far at 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against him. It's to Pillar inside.
A lot of arms and legs in this delivery. Occasionally he will drop down even more, kind of a 3/4 delivery anyway, but it doesn't appear that he's really exerting himself a lot. So the ball's got to jump on you.
Pillar grounds this one to the left side down to third base. Sheldon Noisy throws it across to the first baseman Dalton Kelly for the out. 5-3 put out, 2 gone for the Dodgers in the bottom of the third.
And we talked about Pillar. He's one of the guys that's you figure is going to be in the mix. He can run it down. What is he going to do from an offensive standpoint? Of course, the Dodgers also signed Jake Lamb. 2 very interesting additions that are in camp.
Yeah, Lamb's hitting over 400 in spring. Trey Turner owns the only Dodger hit. Dodgers are 0 for 8 since. And he swings and hits it to right field deep. Back after it, Laureano, and he makes the leaping grab. That's 9 in a row set down by Sean Manaea. We're through 3 full at Camelback Ranch. Oakland 4 and the Dodgers nothing. Dodgers 4-0. Every day in San Diego feels like opening day, filled with tons of sunshine, picture perfect temps, and nothing but feel good vibes. You might say when it comes to happiness, San Diego is in a league of its own. Happiness is calling at sandiego.org. Nick Robertson will now take over in the top of the 4th inning. 6'6" right-hander. He's got power slider, good fastball. We've seen him a few times already in spring. He tries to fill up the strike zone as he faces veteran catcher Stephen Vogt. This ball is down and in for ball 1. Along with Rick Monday and Kirsten Watson, Tim Neverett with you. And we hope you're enjoying the radio TV simulcast tonight from Glendale, Arizona. Pitch is high and it's 2-0.
At least that's where they are.
That's where most of them are. Yeah. You and I are in parts unknown. That's all. We see it all anyway. As Vogt fouls it away. 2 balls and a strike. Robertson out of James Madison, JMU in Harrisonburg, Virginia. 7th-round pick of the Dodgers in 2019. He fires and Boat fouls it back. 2-2. Or from minor league camp. So Nick does not have his last name on the back. Minor leaguers will come over with uniforms like that. A little tapper, and Robertson has to go off of his glove, and Vogt is going to be aboard. So man aboard for Oakland to start the 4th.
So where's the coverage? First of all, you have the shift on. Just off the tip of the glove by Robertson, who then almost ran Gavin Lux over.
Laureano had been productive, singled and scored in the 3rd, back in the 1st to sacrifice fly. So he got the first run of the ball game in. Takes a strike from Robertson.
Vogt uses a bat with the handle like Mookie Betts does, which is really kind of designed to relieve the possibility of a broken hamate bone in the wrist of your bottom hand. So it's a slanted knob. It's not straight across on the bottom.
Feels just like holding an axe in your hand, except without the weight on the end. Pitch in the dirt. By the way, that play ruled an error on Robertson, we're told. So Vogt will reach on the error. He snaps that one inside. 3-1. Now Robertson was a 3-sport standout in high school. A lot of players you see in Major League Baseball were that, and you expect typically the big 3 sports, football, basketball, baseball. And if you're talking about Robertson, you'd be right with 2 out of the 3 of those. This one's popped up to Gavin Lux, and that's the first out of the 4th. He did not play football. That's the one you probably figured he would play at 6'6", right? Figured quarterback, tight end, defensive end, whatever he wanted to play. He played golf in high school.
I'm sure that every time he walked by the basketball coach was saying, "We have practice at 3."
At 3. So finish on the green and get over the court. Eric Thames looks at a pitch low. Yeah. I imagine he had some pretty good drives, and one of the bigger kids on the golf team in high school. Franklin County High School in Rocky Mount, Virginia. A town of about 5,000. So James Madison, just about a 2-hour drive from home. That's why he decided to go there. Wanted to stay close to home for college. Thames flies it to left. Chris Taylor under it. 2 men out. Thames now 2 for 3, double singled and now flied out. And Christian Lopes 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. So 1-4-2 for the Dodgers. So have Freddie Freeman up for just the 2nd time in the game. Freeman, Turner, and Muncy. They are due up in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 down and a man aboard. 1-0 pitch. That one is off the handle right to Gavin Lux, who makes the catch on the lip of the outfield grass. Nothing across for the A's. 4-0 after 3.5. For Oakland 0-1-1. The numbers for the Dodgers, bottom of the fourth inning. Turning into some jacket weather in Glendale. A cool evening. Really nice night for a ball game. Freddie Freeman, second time up. He's 0 for 1. Left-handed hitting first baseman against the left-hander Sean Manaea, the starter for the A's, who's had himself quite a good time so far through the first 3 innings of the ball game. Freeman out of Orange, California. And the pitch. Swung on, hit toward the middle. That sneaks through the right side of second base and into center field for a base hit. It's the second hit for the Dodgers tonight. First hit since Trey Turner led off the bottom of the first with one. Freeman at first, nobody out. This will bring up Justin Turner. And a foul tip into the glove, a vote for strike one. New shortstop is in for Oakland. Kevin Smith is out. And now Drew Jackson takes over at shortstop for the A's. JT hits a high fly ball, shallow center. Pache, long run in, and he makes the catch. He called off Lopes, the second baseman, at the last moment. Pache lost his cap on his way to getting to the baseball, makes the catch. There's one gone for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the fourth. Max Muncy.
Dodgers as a team have to figure out one of the areas that they were rather deficient in last year. And that was offensively against the curveball. Mentioned the other day is that in the National League they were second to last team average against the curveball. Hit just 194. Only the Milwaukee Brewers were lower than that. They were at 187. Now Freddie Freeman, as he comes over, and Roberts knows the numbers very well. Freeman hit 273 against the curveball, and that's rather significant because there was only one other Dodger player last year, Trey Turner, that hit that high against curveballs. So if you look at the one pitch that seemed to bother the Dodgers offensively was the hook.
See what Manaea comes with here. 1-1 to Max Muncy.
And there's the hook.
There's the hook. Fouls it back.
Muncy, for example, against the curveball last year, hit just 127. Dodgers collectively only had 8 home runs in the entirety of the season off of curveballs. Betts hit 2. Justin Turner hit 2. Chris Taylor hit 1. Trey Turner hit 2. What about Freddie Freeman? Freeman hit 4 home runs against the curveball. So something to just kind of keep in mind and watch as the season progresses.
2. Max chases it. He's out on strikes.
But the numbers are really low. I mean, Muncy 127. That was the lowest of the regular players, what you consider regular players for this Dodger ball club. And here's the curveball too. It's just difficult against the lefties. I mentioned that Manaea, that big sweeping breaking ball. Cody Bellinger against the hooks hit just 190. Did not have a home run against the curveball. So just something to kind of to look at, and from a hitter standpoint, observing what teams are throwing, maybe with success more than other pitches.
Well, Smith fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1. 2 down, a man aboard. 4-0 A's, bottom of the fourth inning. And it's such a good point to talk about it when you look at those 2 guys that have been brought in. You mentioned Trey Turner and especially Freddie Freeman. Certainly the Dodgers hope that hitting against the breaking ball will improve with those 2 guys in the lineup more often than not.
Well, I think Freeman is the big guy. You and I have talked about this also in the spring training. He is such an added addition. He's more than just a warm body put in that lineup. It allows Dave Roberts maneuverability to have a different lineup and separate left-handed batters.
1-1, ground ball to short. They'll go the short way to second. Force out right there. And that takes care of the Dodgers. The runs hit a man left onto the 5th. 4-0 Oakland. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Glad you're aboard with us tonight from Camelback Ranch, Glendale, Arizona, with Rick Monday. I'm Tim Neverett. Kirsten Watson with us as well. Oakland with a 4-0 lead over the Dodgers as we move to the 5th inning. And as we do, former Pirate and Mariner Tyler Anderson will take over. We expected to see him anyway. Multiple innings. And he is now on the mound taking over for Nick Robertson. So Anderson becomes the 4th pitcher used by the Dodgers tonight. New shortstop, too, by the way, as Trey Turner has left the ball game. And Hanser Alberto is in. So Alberto at short. Dave Roberts getting Trey out as the night is moving along here. So for the Athletics, it'll be Dalton Kelly, the first baseman. 3rd plate appearance for him. He was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded last time up to force in a run.
Well, Anderson fouled Gonsolin on Thursday, went 3 innings. 1 run on 3 hits, gave up the run and the 2 hits in his first inning, but struck out 7.
Anderson gets a swing and a miss. Anderson from Las Vegas. That's his hometown. Went to University of Oregon in Eugene. And was a first-round pick by the Rockies in 2011. He was drafted out of high school by the Minnesota Twins. He was just a high schooler in Vegas, but decided not to sign. This one lifted into right center for a base hit. And so Dalton Kelly aboard with a leadoff single.
Tyler Anderson, he of the double leg kick when he is in the stretch position or in the full windup position. You wonder how many times he might change from a double click to either a single or a triple, trying to really mess up the hitter's timing.
Anderson stretch, set at the belt, kicks once, twice, and throws a curveball in there to Sheldon Neuse.
So if a timing device, you're looking at it, okay, here's the leg kick, let's do it again.
And the throw to first. And that was close. That was close. Kelly got back with a hand tag with the right hand, but there was no second kick that time. Right there. Boom.
So he throws over on the first kick.
Yeah.
It's a good curveball. We saw it the other day. It's right over the top. He did drop down last Thursday to one left-handed batter, kind of a 3/4 breaking ball. Came a little Laredo.
And the pitch. It's fouled back. Yeah, Laredo is one of those old school baseball terms you don't hear much anymore, but way out from the left side toward first base.
Which will have a tendency to jelly leg a few left-handed batters. The old term, step in the bucket.
A ball and 2 strikes in the pitch. Off speed, fouled back. I'm sure somebody's done it, but if we sat here and had time to just make a list of all of the baseball slang we can remember.
No, we're too busy writing down the current slang, which is a redefinition of the old slang.
There's just a lot of slang in baseball, always has been. It's a great nickname sport, too. Pitch up high. Everybody's got a nickname.
Well, it's a game of nicknames.
Yeah. Now, wasn't that, I think you told me one time that one of your third base coaches signs to you. Was one of them your nickname or your real name or your nickname, depending on what he wanted you to do? This one put into play, but ranging over is Chris Taylor. Left fielder will make the catch for the out.
Yeah, it's when catchers set up too early. And by that, we're talking about movement behind the plate after they give the sign, and then if they set up inside really early. Well, why should a hitter be the only person in the entire ballpark that doesn't know where the catcher is set up? You're not stealing signs. All you're doing is letting a hitter know where the position of the players are, just like you can look out and see it. So normally you'd be saying, it was Danny Ozark, the third base coach for the Dodgers. So normally it was like, hey, come on, Mo, or come on, Boomer, or come on, Bake, come on, Garp, whatever it might be. But if we had it, the catcher said inside very early, it was, come on, Rick. So the other team doesn't know it because they know your name is Rick or Steve or it's Dusty or whatever it may be. But if he called you by your nickname, there was nothing. If you heard your real name, then you knew the catcher was sitting inside. Why did you want to know it was inside? Well, you don't come soft inside.
Hard tag by Freeman, apparently. And Dalton Kelly feeling the effects of it.
And you wonder if it was extension of the shoulder. Or a semi-face plant. Well, it was a late move, and the helmet came off. I think the helmet came up and got him.
Freddie tagged him on the back of the helmet, and getting tagged in the back of the head can't be too comfy.
Well, he's got the sleeve on the right arm for some reason.
He's wearing the oven mitt so that the thumb is protected. That's what those are for. Typically,
and so you don't get your fingers stuck under the second base bag if you go in head first.
A lot of guys who've had thumb injuries or trying to prevent a thumb injury or forefinger injury, they will wear those on the bases. He'll go, throw down, and a stolen base. Will Smith late on the throw as Dalton Kelly had a big jump.
Well, you're not expecting a guy to be going after you've already had the trainer come out. You take a walk down the line, and he just takes off after almost getting picked off the pitch before.
And as soon as he got to second base, you saw Will Smith put two fingers up against the chest protector to Anderson. As with a runner at second base, they'll go through a different set of signs. Dodgers are not one of the teams using the PitchCom technology. We've talked a lot about that in recent days on these spring training broadcasts. At least they're not using it in games. The A's are not using it tonight either. But what was interesting was yesterday, Rick, Austin Barnes was catching for the Dodgers. He had the PitchCom device on his left wrist, but wasn't using it in the game. He was just wearing it. But Will does not have it on. Christian Pache, the center fielder, 0 for 1 with a walk. And now Anderson and Smith will have to get the signs squared away. A little meeting on the mound. Will taps Anderson on the backside and heads back to home plate. 4-0 Oakland, top of the 5th. The A's with a single run in the first and 3 more in the third. Anderson delivers. Swing and a miss by Pache, and he's out on strikes.
Yeah, I got a great shot just a moment ago about Dave Roberts in the dugout. And if you're Dave Roberts and any other manager in Major League Baseball, you're really seeing the big picture, all of the field. But how many decisions does Dave know is that, hey, it comes down to the pitching? What about the extra position players? Because this is a new venture. 28 players will be on the initial roster this year.
Pitch is swung on by the shortstop Jackson, and a great diving catch near the line by Kevin Pillar. Boy, Pillar ran a long way and just gave Dodger fans a sample of what he is known for. Diving acrobatic catches. Dodgers come to the plate, but it was a Tremendous plays. We look at the Carl's Cam coverage of Kevin Pillar, how far he had to go to lay out and make that catch.
He's made a good career of being on highlight reels at the end of ball games by catches that he's able to make.
Chris Taylor at the plate. He's 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the second. Some question as to whether or not Taylor would come back to the Dodgers, but more than likely not in his mind. It's where he wanted to be. And ended up working out. Business of baseball for players doesn't always work out the way they want it to in terms of where they play. But for Taylor, he wanted to be a Dodger, and after he had signed, he told some folks, yeah, I wanted to be here anyway. In the air, right center field. Pache over to get it. He is one former Brave. There's another former Brave, Christian Bethancourt, now behind the plate, taking over for Stephen Vogt. Taylor 0 for 2. Bellinger 0 for 1. Strikeout victim in the second inning. Went down swinging. Left on left as Manaea deals. Blowing away ball 1. Sean Manaea has only allowed 2 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Has not walked anybody and has struck out 5. He's thrown 50 pitches, probably at this stage of spring training, in line to throw 60 or more anyway. And breaking ball in for a strike. Taken by Bellinger. 1 ball, 1 strike. This will be the 56th pitch of Manaea's outing. Trying to go knee high and missed. Speaking of catching, for the first time tonight, or the first time this spring, when I looked at the Dodger roster of players that they have in uniform, there's a very interesting player on there. We might see play tonight. Swing and a miss. He has not participated in a Cactus League game yet. Diego Cartaya, their #1 prospect, is listed as one of the catchers tonight. Maybe we'll get to see. They're expecting great things out of him. Bellinger waves and misses, and he strikes out for the second time tonight.
Well, that's the off-speed pitch that Manaea has really kind of replaced the slider with. And you know, the big question with Bellinger, he's missing the ball by such a large margin and doing it consistently, but he's breaking down. He goes all the way down to his left knee. At what point in time is it a concern? I think we've already reached that point. Now the question is, how is he going to regroup?
2 outs. Gavin Lux looks outside, ball 1. Well, that's a fair question, certainly. At what point, you know, he said the other day, he said, you know, what I'm trying to do, I feel good. The results aren't showing it, but I'm doing what I want. Ground ball to third, and Noisy throws out Lux. So the Dodgers gone in order in the 5th. On to the 6th, the Camelback Ranch, 4-0 Oakland. Friday, April 15th, when the Dodgers face the Reds at 7:10. Be sure to stay after the game. The first Friday night fireworks, sponsored by UCLA Health and featuring music from the 60s. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions for more details. Chris Taylor signing autographs on the way out. Those kids are saying, hey, remember that big home run in the wild card game against the Cardinals? That's the guy. That's the guy. How many people did he bring to their feet? And that night when he hit that game-winning home run. What a moment. So we start the 6th inning, and it's Billy McKinney. 4th plate appearance for Billy tonight. Last year, Billy got some frequent flyer miles. He was with Milwaukee. He was with the Mets and he was with the Dodgers, and he played between the three teams, or among the three teams. He played in a career high 116 games. Looking for a home with the A's. 1-1, and Anderson gets him to wave and miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Defensive changes. Hanser Alberto has moved from shortstop to third base. Leonel Valera is now in at short. Pitch, swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes McKinney. 1 out in the Oakland 6th. Edwin Rios is now at first base, and Jake Lamb has entered the game. He's in left field. So those are the defensive changes. So Justin Turner out, Trey Turner out, Freddie Freeman out, Chris Taylor out. And here's Christian Bethancourt. Breaking ball hit on the ground towards short. Valera, nice play to get to it. Throws on to first, not in time.
Well, I see the young man as far as his movement at shortstop. Holding the right hand and put that down as he was going. It's rather amazing. You look at the athleticism. These guys, curveball, kind of a hanger. But getting in position to field the ball and then popping up in a hurry, but pretty good speed going down the first base line to begin with.
Bethancourt runs well. He's got an infield single. Nice job by Valera to get there. Here's Laureano, right fielder. 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Singled and scored a run tonight. 1-0 pitch coming from the lefty. Anderson will wait, throw to first, and runner back. Edwin Rios holding him on. Rios had another home run yesterday, his 3rd of spring training. A strike called to Laureano. Dodgers getting a pretty good look at young Mr. Valera in recent days. Charging is Alberto. He goes to second for 1. The turn, that's way off the mark as Lux hurried to throw.
Well, this has been problematic for Gavin Lux, and that's the throwing aspect of it. And if we get a look at it, what about his feet coming across the bag at second base? So just look at Lux as he receives the ball at the second base bag. I mean, he's basically kind of throwing off balance to begin with. But the throwing issue, that was problematic. If you look at 2 years ago, not only from second base, but here's a shortstop that was having some issues there.
A pinch hitter for Oakland is Jeremy Eierman. He's hoping to make that jump from AA to AAA in the A's organization. Anderson kicks and fires, and Eierman takes on the outside edge for a strike. Of course, in the Oakland organization, they all want to make that jump from AA to AAA because it's probably the best ballpark in AAA to go to in Vegas. Brand new ballpark where your Arizona State Sun Devils are actually playing a game tonight against UNLV. I didn't want to check on the score because I didn't want to get you too excited. Let's see if.
So you're holding back on me, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what it is yet. I'm waiting till afterward when we ride home and we'll talk about it.
Well, be nice because I am driving, and I assume you like to get all the way downtown.
I do, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
I'll just tell you what you want to hear. Top of the 6th, 4-0 Oakland. 2 down, 1 on. Laureano, the runner at second base. Fielder's choice and an error on second baseman, and Ironman strikes out. So Anderson gets him and holds the A's scoreless. To the bottom of the 6th we go. 4-0 Oakland. No runs, 2 hits and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Bottom of the 6th inning. The lights at Camelback Ranch tonight. Sean Manaea remains on. And he will face Kevin Pillar, number 9 hitter in the Dodger order. So the A's starter tonight, certainly Mark Kotsay getting everything and more he's wanted out of him in this exhibition game. 1 ball and no strikes. So the 1-0 coming to Pillar. And that is in there for a strike. Just a short time ago, Kirsten caught up with tonight's starting pitcher, Tony Gonsolin.
Tony, first off, just let's talk about your outing today. How would you say it went?
It was okay. I fell behind in some counts early. They capitalized. I felt better at the end. Started throwing a lot more strikes, especially with my off-speed stuff, so happy with that.
Was there anything in specific that you think was what allowed them to really kind of get to you today?
Definitely falling behind in counts early. They got into some good counts where they got some heaters, and they didn't really miss them.
When you, I guess, kind of just looking ahead after this start, is there anything that you kind of take away from it that's going to be the focus for you either this week and bullpens, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Landing everything for strikes, early, getting ahead with fastballs, getting ahead with off-speed stuff. Whatever it is, just throwing it for a strike, and then, putting people away when I get the opportunity.
And after your outing you went through in the bullpen, where would you say your buildup is at kind of right now?
I think I threw about 60 total, including the 10 or so in the bullpen. So, hopefully next outing, get up to like that 75 mark and then be ready to go for opening day.
When we look at the starting rotation, your name has been part of the conversation. What does that mean to you, just looking ahead to this year and just considering some of the challenges that you experienced last year?
It feels awesome to, get that spot and feel like I've earned it. Last year was a little up and down, but overall I feel like I came into spring this year feeling good in a better spot, and I'm glad that they've all seen that.
Awesome. Well, congratulations from all of us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Tony. Hanser Alberto, the batter. Kevin Pillar flied to right, so 1 down.
A very fair analogy by Tony Gonsolin. Kind of the same thing we were talking about, falling behind, not able to control the count or the at-bat.
0-2 now to Alberto. Yeah, it means a lot to him. He talked about it at the end. Obviously, he feels he's earned the opportunity to be a starter in the rotation. I mean, don't forget, Gonsolin was the Game 6 starter in the 2020 World Series. Oh, fastball right by Hanser Alberto for strike 3.
There's that elevated fastball that just seems to get in on hitters.
So I mean, for Gonsolin, it wasn't that long ago that he was starting the biggest game in recent Dodger history. And we've seen him have some really good starts like we did the other day against the Rockies in Scottsdale, where he's very efficient. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it seemed like 1 inning maybe in the 3rd or 4th or 5th might be his undoing.
From the outside looking in, it's if the good appearances that he has when he's aggressive. And when he struggles, and I'm sure it looks that way with any of the pitchers. When you're struggling to throw strikes, it looks like it's a passive appearance.
2-0 to Valera. It's an interesting prospect here. We saw his glove work last inning. Reports on him are he's got some natural power. He's got a natural power stroke. And as any hitter does, it needs to do going through the minor leagues, just, it's a plate discipline kind of thing that you learn over time. But here he is facing Sean Manaea and taking low 3-0.
Yeah, you've got to learn about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? It's easy to concentrate on the strengths. It's painful at times to talk about and review some of the weaknesses. That's the advantage. And you start to look around in the Dodgers organization. Why do they keep finding and developing young talent? Well, first of all, they find it at the different levels, and then they develop it with their coaching staff and overall, I think, stance of how they're going to teach within the organization.
Ball 4 showed some good plate discipline in this plate appearance. So Valera will earn the walk.
And we know that Dave Roberts has taken some heat where he says, hey, we're going to win the World Series. He said that about his ball club. He said, hey, that's what we want in the entire organization. Expectations to do that.
First walk of the night, and that's going to do it for Manaea, who was going to go about 75 pitches anyways, stops at 73. And so Sean Manaea, who had a terrific night for Oakland, he heads off. 4-0 A's, bottom of the 6th, pitching change. At home April 14th when the Dodgers host Cincinnati and Atlanta. Great promotions begin with Maury Wills and Will Smith bobbleheads, Jackie Robinson Day jersey, Friday night fireworks, and Taco Tuesday. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Lefty Sam Maul takes over. Last year 8 games with a big club. Went to the University of Memphis. And trying to make his way full-time with a big club this year. Facing Edwin Rios, who is hitting .500 this spring. And time called. So Maul takes over for Manaea. Manaea, what a night. Easily the longest pitching performance we've seen out of a starter in spring training. As we get to the end of March, I think certainly he's pretty satisfied with his outing tonight. Well, just the one walk, that was to Valera, the last man he faced. He retired this Dodger order in order. 3 different innings tonight. Rios swings, hits a high drive, left center field. It is back. It is gone. And Eddie's done it again. Second home run in as many days for Edwin Rios. And the Dodgers get on the board.
Rios so strong, and he lets the ball come into him. Not trying to pull against the lefty. Goes the opposite way. Just a good pass through the ball with a good finish. Well, there's some people knocking on the door and what they're doing from an offensive standpoint to be part of that 28-man roster.
Certainly Edwin Rios is one of them. The way that he is swinging the bat. He has been very, very good. Now Max Muncy, the batter. Dodgers have cut it in half now, 4-2. Third home run of the spring for Edwin Rios. And again, his second in as many days. And Max Muncy at the plate. Ground ball into the shift on the third base side. And Muncy is out. So Edwin Rios, after Valera walks, blasts one to the opposite field. And Rios hopes that's a familiar trot. Dodgers on the board now, 4-2, top of the 7th inning. And Tyler Anderson back to work as he faces Christian Lopes, the second baseman. New second baseman for the Dodgers in the game. Luck's out. Ty Kelly is in. And Anderson offering. This one hit hard down to third base. That's picked up by Hanser Alberto. A beautiful play by Alberto to retire Lopes.
Some kind of quickness down at the third base bag. They call it the hot corner for a lot of different reasons. Yeah, go ahead. Tip the cap. You earned it. To the backhand side. And even though he drops down Still has plenty on the throw going over to first. Just a terrific play.
A snow cone there, too. Great job. Dalton Kelly had a base hit, stole a base, was stranded back in the 5th inning. Facing Anderson, left on left matchup. He'll swing at the first pitch, and he hits it in the air to right field. And over there to make the play is Drew Avens, who is now in for Kevin Pillar. We've seen him, I think, now in 3 different Cactus League games. New center fielder is Jaron Kendall. So Kendall and Avens, the new outfielders. And then, of course, Jake Lamb came in last inning. He's in left. Sheldon Noisy doubled back in the 2nd inning. Takes a strike. Noisy had a sacrifice fly and an RBI in the 3rd, and then fly to left in the 5th inning. Pitch. Nice back around the play. 0-2. Anderson ready to go, and his pitch on the way. That's up high. And Tony Gonsolin started. Justin Brule appeared. Nick Robertson, and now Tyler Anderson. Going multiple innings for the Dodgers tonight. And the pitch to Noisy. That one is lined to right. That's a base hit. It's punched into right field. Avens will retrieve it. Well, anytime you see the Oakland A's, I know one of our colleagues for years is definitely going to be missed, and that's Ray Fosse, who we lost. One of the longtime broadcasters, catcher, and a huge part of the A's organization.
Big part of baseball and very enthusiastic, both as a player and as a broadcaster. And saddened to hear of his passing to begin with, and always had a smile and a greeting. And he's one of those guys that if you're around the ballpark, you want to sit next to him, to listen to him, passionate about the game and the people in the game.
And so eager to exchange information and so eager to offer, you know, his opinions on what's happening in the game. And just every time, I know from my experience, every time I'd sit down with Ray, I'd learn not something, I'd learn a bunch of things. There's a bouncer toward the middle. That is grabbed by Kelly, steps on the bag, and that'll do it. Stretch time at Camelback Ranch. Oakland 4, Dodgers 2. Celebrate the 60th anniversary of Dodgers Stadium with your friends and family this season. Catch rivalry matchups and great promotions featuring bobbleheads, Friday night fireworks, Taco Tuesdays, and more. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions. 4-2 Oakland, bottom of the 7th. On a cool night in Glendale, Arizona with Rick Monday, Tim Neverett, Kirsten Watson with us too. And we're glad you're with us, whether you're listening on radio, watching on TV, wherever you happen to be catching Dodger baseball tonight. Grant Holmes will take over. Holmes last season allowed an opponent average in AAA of .341. And Holmes ready to pitch to Will Smith. His first pitch is inside. Will's 0 for 2 tonight. We were talking about Ray Fosse last half inning. He came to Oakland and was the catcher right after you had left there. So Will Smith hits this one to the wall. Laureano will pick it up. Will around first, and he's on his way to second with a double. And this will bring the tying run to the plate. Third double of spring training for Will Smith.
The Dodgers have such confidence in Will Smith, and especially you look at a young player that bats a lot in the middle of the lineup. He's a number 5 spot for tonight's game, but many times during the season last year was hitting in that number 4 spot because he can make contact.
Jake Lamb, 8 for 18. And he has been a very interesting character in Arizona for the Dodgers this year. He's just been swinging the bat, making good contact, and getting on base. Done everything the Dodgers have asked him so far. Dodgers so far tonight 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Grant Holmes checks Smith. Now the pitch. That's low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Lamb facing a former first-round pick by the Dodgers, 2014. Grant Holmes was taken out of Conway High School in Conway, South Carolina. First rounder. Holmes looks back at second again, comes home, and Lamb takes a strike on the outside corner. I mean, to be a high school pitcher taken in the first round, you got to be pretty good in high school.
Absolutely.
I mean, really good.
Well, he was traded along with Frankie Montas and Gerald Cotton to the A's. That's when Rich Hill and Josh Reddick came to the Dodgers in 2016.
Yeah, Rich Hill's played for so many teams, but he's such a nice guy that everywhere he goes and then leaves, everybody says, I really miss Rich Hill. I do.
Yeah, and they're speaking from the heart.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch. And it's bounced. He went back home, though. He's from Milton, Massachusetts, and he's in either his second or third tour of duty with the Red Sox.
Well, you know,
now.
don't speak too nicely about him because he might be watching.
Just kidding, Rich.
One of the nice
He really
people.
is.
But don't tell him we said that.
Nope. We'll just keep that a secret. Nobody out. Will Smith, the runner at second base. Holmes shaking off the catcher Bethancourt. Now step off. Maybe one of the happiest guys that the DH is universal might be Rich Hill, but then again, he did enjoy competing at the plate. As Lamb fouls it off.
Well, you really admire guys too. I mean, here's Rich Hill played independent ball. There were people who said, hey, look, turn in your glove. That's going to be it. And he said, no, I can still pitch. So he goes to independent ball. He winds up coming back to major leagues.
And still doing it year after year. So Grant Holmes said that baseball scholarship right there in the table for him. If you go to the University of Florida. He had some other offers too. Really one of those guys coming out of high school that, you know, the expression he can write his own ticket, and basically he had that opportunity. Not every high school athlete gets that chance, but he did. Inside the Lamb. Where he hit him. Got him. So he's down to first base, and the tying runs aboard.
Just got him.
Back foot action there. Call a tow truck. Clayton McCullough talking to Jake Lamb at first. 4-2 Oakland. Bottom of the 7th. Dodgers threatening now. Ty Kelly will come up from the left side. First plate appearance for Kelly. Veteran minor leaguer. And the pitch is there for a strike. .227 last year in the minor leagues. Holmes out of the stretch, kicks and delivers, and a swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Ty Kelly. I don't know if you saw the USA Today story on the team's predictions, or the paper's predictions from all their writers that cover baseball. Kelly looks at strike 3 on the outside corner. And that's going to be out number 1. Borderline pitch. Went Grant Holmes' way. But USA Today had the Dodgers, the only team winning over 100 games, 101, and predicted them to win the division by 12 over the Padres. There's Kendall, first ball swinging, slaps it to left, takes a high hop, and he's going to be in with an infield single. And the Dodgers have loaded the bases. Jaron Kendall with a base hit.
Boy, you got the nice high hop on that second bounce. There was no chance at all on the play. Not a bad pitch getting down, but boy, that high bouncer.
Kendall is aboard. Now the A's will have a little meeting on the mound. Trying to figure some things out. Tomorrow, Dodgers and the Guardians. I have another night game for you here, both on TV and radio. Julio Urias is the scheduled starter tomorrow night for the Dodgers. That game will be over at Goodyear, Arizona. And Connor Pilkington, a left-hander, is the probable for the Guardians. There's Drew Avens, the right fielder. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tying run is in scoring position. A big at bat for Avens here. Spring training. What's he thinking right now?
Biggest thing for a hitter, get a good pitch.
He got a good pitch, and he drives it deep to right center field. It's a grand slam for Avens. He can't believe it. Drew Avens, called up from minor league camp today, hits the grand slam, and the Dodgers now lead it 6-4.
Well, it's one thing to look for a good pitch to hit, and then once you get it, how do you execute the swing? This one to perfection. And watch the reaction of Avens.
That is awesome. That is great. And he chases out Grant Holmes in the process. So the Dodgers turn this game around on an Avens grand slam. Well, how do you like that?
He likes it a lot.
Oh, great to see. Pitching change. Timeout. Avens got the pitch, and he did not miss it. guys that come over from minor league camp get a chance not only to get in the game, but how about impact it this way, the way Drew Avans did with a grand slam. They give the Dodgers their first lead of the night, 6-4, here in the bottom of the 7th inning. I mean, that's something that's going to stick for a long time. A guy who knows he's in minor league camp. He knows he's going to be with one of the minor league clubs. But he and his teammates will recall that for quite a while.
He's going to have to see a trainer to get some relief on sore cheeks from smiling so much.
Hanser Alberto facing the new pitcher for the A's. It is Jake Lemoyne, non-roster invite, a right-hander.
Enjoy it, kid.
I mean, look at him. He won't stop smiling for a week at least, and he's earned it. But how good does it feel? You know, you get that call, your name's on the list. All right, I'm going over to the big league game tonight. And then you do something like that.
He'll be doing a couple of things tonight. Looking at some videotape and making phone calls. And probably answering a lot of phone calls.
I'm sure his phone sitting in the locker in the clubhouse right now is just blowing up. Avens' friends and family, they're all spreading the word. And Hanser Alberto will walk. So the first man Lemoyne faces takes a walk. And the first goes Hanser Alberto.
So in these games, towards the back end, you have a chance to see some of the young players. And boy, is it refreshing when you see the smiles on the young players. And it's a great opportunity and a great stage for them to get a taste of what it's going to be like. They need some seasoning. They need some games underneath their belt. But they have an idea when they come back in, when they're ready, this is what they're going to be looking at.
Here's Valera, the shortstop. He just knocks it down to second base. And Jackson will step on second, handle it himself. So an inning-ending double play. But certainly the highlight, Drew Avans, over from minor league camp, blasts a grand slam to give the Dodgers a 6-4 lead.
Welcome back to Glendale. I am here with Will Smith. And Will, first let's just talk about the grand slam that we saw from Drew Avans. Like, amazing. There was definitely a bit of silence in the air, and that completely shifted the night, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was kind of, dead those first 5-6 innings or whatever. And then, yeah, was able to get started, I guess. And then a couple, hit by pitch, another hit. And then, yeah, that was awesome, super exciting. And, that got the night going for us.
How special is it when you see guys come up from minor league camp and kind of just put up performances like that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think back to, when I was in their spot. Get to come up, once a week, every 2 weeks, never really know when. But, yeah, to have success, that's, it's awesome for him.
Let's talk about the pitching tonight with, first up, Tony Gonsolin. What did you see from him this evening?
Yeah, I mean, he had a really good start his last outing. It just wasn't as crisp as it should be. But, I think he got out of the first inning. They could have spiraled on, just kept it to one run. They put up a 0 in the second. But, so, yeah, I mean, he just grinded. He gave it what he had. But, yeah, I mean, I should see, a good bounce back from him in his next start.
When you consider just obviously last year he had some injuries and just some kind of challenges, when you see the success that he's had this year, being a part of the starting rotation, what does it say about a guy like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to step up even more this year. He's going to contribute a lot of innings, and he's got the stuff to do it. He's got the mindset to do it, and we expect big things from him this year.
We also saw Tyler Anderson out there on the mound today. What would you describe for his outing?
Oh, that's pretty good. He really knows what he's doing up there. He's in total control. He truly is kind of like a little crafty lefty, but he's got good stuff. I've faced him several times, and I'm glad he's pitching for us now because it's a frustrating at bat times.
Now, what would you just say? How are you feeling at the plate right now? With opening day is 10 days away now. Where would you say that you're at?
I feel ready to go right now, but yeah, I mean, next 10 days, I guess, get some more at bats, feel a little bit better, and just see some more pitches, and yeah, I'll be ready to go.
Now, yesterday was a big day for you. It was your birthday. How did you celebrate?
My wife and I just got takeout last night. She made a little homemade birthday cake, and just kind of a chill day. I wasn't playing baseball, so yeah, just kind of enjoyed the off day for me.
Well, from all of us to you, happy birthday, and thanks so much, Will. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Kirsten. Thanks, Will. 6-4 Dodgers, top of the 8th. And Drew Jackson with a base hit. And the big moment tonight belongs to that young man right there, Drew Avans, with a grand slam to turn this game around score-wise. It's Billy McKinney swinging a miss as Anderson is still in there. And see who Anderson is throwing to. For the first time in a Cactus League game, Dodgers' #1 prospect, Diego Cartaya, is catching. Out of Venezuela. And a ground ball to Rios. He goes to second for one, back to first. Anderson couldn't hang on, so safe. But they got the front side out, so Jackson is forced. 3-6.
A little slow developing, and for Rios, making sure he came to the inside of the bag, and not a real good throw over to first base, catchable. So the ball has not really been thrown in the infield exceptionally well a couple of different times. For Cartaya, this is where it's fun, Tim, is you're looking at these highly prized young players, and we've heard so much. I have a chance to see him.
Didn't know how much we would see him, if at all, even in this shortened spring training schedule, but really glad to see him tonight. As a 19-year-old playing in Rancho last year, hit .298. 10 home runs, 31 runs batted in. This ball is hit in the air toward slight right center. And over there to get it, Kendall for the out. 2 out. Yeah, so Diego got to play under the tutelage of the great John Shoemaker over in Rancho, who has been with the Dodgers organization for a long time, and they say you put your best teachers in the minor leagues, and he certainly has been one for a long time.
I think it's 40 years, I think, for Shoe.
Yep.
Cartaya, 6'3".
Curveball missing to Laureano. But again, he's just 20 years old now. He turned 20 on September 7th. He is a prized prospect, that's for sure. Dodgers will continue to monitor his development closely.
From what we understand, and just doing some reading about him, is that he thrives on instruction to improve. He's drawn a lot of comparisons to Salvador Perez because of his size initially. Again, at 6'3". But many people feel, if you're making that comparison with Perez, is that Cartaya is much farther along in the early stages of his career from an offensive standpoint than maybe what Perez was initially. And that wasn't bad at all.
2-1 pitch. And that's up high. 3-1 to Ramon Laureano. 1 on, 2 out, top of the 8th. Dodgers up by a pair of runs, 6-4.
So Cartaya, again, he has what baseball would label all of the tools to be exceptionally good player.
3-1 from Anderson. That's right there for a called strike. Laureano started to walk away, but acknowledges that strike 2, and the count is full. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That is up high, ball 4. Laureano walks with 2 men out. Force McKinney over to second base, so 2 on, 2 out. 54 pitches here for Anderson. Again, pitching to the Dodgers' top prospect, catcher Diego Cartaya. He was just 18 when the shutdown happened in 2020. Couldn't get back to Venezuela. So he went to South Carolina, and he lived with Travis Barber and his family, the AAA manager for the Dodgers. And I learned English really well. And that ball falls in foul.
That's just miscommunication right there. Rios looked like he had a beat on it. It's going to be a long run for the second baseman because of defensive positioning. But Rios looked at it, and it's as if he maybe thought he heard something coming from his right fielder, Avens. Rios stopped.
Jeremy Ironman gets an extra pitch here, at least one. 0-1 to Ironman, who came in the DH spot. Got one extra pitch, popped it up. Ty Kelly camped out, makes the catch, and that'll do it. A's will leave 2. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Dodgers up 6-4. 6 runs on 6 hits for the Dodgers. 4 runs, 12 hits for Oakland. Bottom of the 8th inning. And the Dodgers turning it around on a grand slam by Drew Avens in the 7th inning. Jake LeMoyne, or Grant Holmes rather, and Jake LeMoyne came in. Grant Holmes was chased. Former first-round pick by the Dodgers is who Avens hit that off of. There's Edwin Rios, who also has a home run tonight. And he takes outside. And for Rios, this was in the 6th in his first plate appearance.
And went the opposite way, ball out away from him. Well, one of the advantages of having some power.
Well, over his last 7 at bats, he's had 3 home runs.
I think that answers the question that his shoulder's okay.
His shoulders, yeah, it looks like it's okay, huh? And the Dodgers as a team now have 25 home runs this spring. That is the most in the National League. Ground ball right side. It's going to be a tough play, and it got there just in time. Well, Lopes made a good play on the outfield grass. Just getting it there.
So the shift.
Devin Mann get a chance to hit in the DH spot where Max Muncy started. But yeah, 25 home runs as a team. That's the most in the National League. It's tied for the most in Major League Baseball. The New York Yankees also with 25 home runs as they play in the Grapefruit League in Florida. All 6 of the Dodgers' runs tonight have come by way of the home run. Devin Mann at the plate.
Notice that Avens, he cannot sit still in the dugout.
I can't blame him.
He's still probably having adrenaline overload after hitting the grand slam. Oh, is he having a good time?
Yeah, that's fun. Devin Mann knows what it's like, except not with the bases loaded. Remember, he hit one at Camelback Ranch last week that cleared the left field bullpen, cleared the wall out there. We didn't have a tape measure on it, but we might have run out of tape. He absolutely crushed one. And that's outside. Count goes to 3-2 to Devin Mann, right-handed batter from Louisville. Last year hit .244 with Tulsa. 14 home runs, but 27 doubles. And he drove in 62. Love to see the 2 base hits. Pitches inside for ball 4, and he walks. Dodgers with a base runner with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. And Diego Cartaya coming up now for the first time. And a look at the Dodgers' #1 prospect. Spent the year in Rancho, so if he advances, folks of the Midwest will get a chance to see him this year, but perhaps with Great Lakes Loons in advanced A ball.
I spoke with one scout who's with a different organization. I said, what can you tell me? He said, well, the kid has an awesome ability to begin with. I said, well, what about it as a hitter? He goes, well, when he learns to use the field, all of the field a little bit more often, it might help him.
Well, first of all, he's barely 20, and he's got a presence about him at the plate.
Absolutely.
You can just tell by looking.
And behind home plate, too, for that matter.
Yeah. Maracay, Venezuela is home for Diego Cartaya. And the 0-1 coming. And took a healthy cut there. It's now 0-2.
Well, he holds the bat. The barrel of the bat is almost up over the top of his helmet. He tweaks it a little bit forward. So the barrel of the bat, unless he gets it back on a different level, you see the barrel up over the top is out towards the pitcher.
Showing some patience. You know, you've got to figure he's been in a lot of games at a young age, but it's a major league exhibition game, 2-run ball game late. You know, he wasn't over anxious there.
Well, you learn a lot as you're going up the ladder to different levels of baseball because you're playing against better and better competition.
Bethancourt sets the target in the 1-2, and that one just off the outside part of the plate, swing and a miss, and Cartaya strikes out. So we'll learn from this.
The barrel of the bat, the track as far as the length, it goes a long way. You saw there, for those on the TV side, from the in front angle. The barrel of the bat, if you're going to draw a diagram, it's traveling a long distance.
2 outs, runner at first. Jake Lamb, the batter. Second time up for Lamb, hit by a pitch first time. There are a lot of folks rooting for Jake Lamb right now to make this ball club after the performance he's put on in spring training. And for a guy in his position, what's that? You know, what's going through your mind every day knowing that you're out there auditioning? You don't have a spot on the club.
Exactly. You can't get 5 hits every game. You're not going to play every game, first of all. The biggest thing is to try and settle in and feel comfortable to begin with. You're here because of ability, and the Dodgers think that you can help them.
Jake LeMoyne with a good breaking ball there.
Managers want tough decisions. And the more good players you have, the more difficult the positions and the decisions. But they're nice decisions that you have to make.
Pitch to Lamb is up and in. And the count now 2-2.
It's better than that manager that's sitting in the office and said, look at this. We have to choose 28. Well, Dave Roberts is in a different position. The Dodgers front office, we can only choose 28.
Right. And then after May 1st, the roster gets pared down to 26. So you've got to make some decisions at that point, too. So even for those who make the 28-man roster, guys at the end who are going to be bench guys, they still have to perform when they get the opportunities in those first 2 weeks of the regular season. Strike 3 called right at the knees. Right at the hollow of the knee. Jake Lamb strikes out. On to the ninth. 6-4 Dodgers. 6-4 Dodgers with the lead. They'll try to wrap it up here. As they'll get ready for another one tomorrow night. Getting closer and closer to the end of the Arizona portion of spring training. And here's veteran right-hander Daniel Hudson. He comes aboard to try to wrap things up. This will be a safe situation for him here tonight. 2-run lead. Last year with the Nationals and the Padres, 54 appearances between those two teams. And this will be his second outing of spring training. Last time out, he had a scoreless inning. Dodgers signed him on the 30th of November, right at the end of November, just days before the lockout. Actually, hours before the lockout.
Timing.
Yeah. 5-3 last year, and Hudson whistles this one right past Christian Lopes. This is his 13th major league season. Overall, in terms of wins and losses, he is 17 games over 500, 57-40. He has 27 saves in his career. There's strike 2 on Lopes. Well, tomorrow night over in Goodyear, Cleveland Guardians. Thursday afternoon back to daytime baseball. That'll be in Surprise. Pitch up high, and Cartaya way out of the crouch to make the catch. Texas Rangers will host the Dodgers on Thursday. Friday is an off day, and then the last day in Arizona will be Saturday. It'll be a noon start against the San Francisco Giants. The pitch to the dirt, cut on and missed. Cartaya will pick it up, throw down to first to complete the strikeout.
We're talking about Cartaya, that pitch in the dirt, and he slid out to be able to block that ball. So we're learning a lot about this young man. Yeah, keep smiling, kid. So just look, he's set up, sees the ball outside, goes palm up, gets the body out in front, picks it up and makes the play. I've seen so many catchers down on their knee where they're locked in and they cannot move laterally.
Dalton Kelly. That's ball 1. That'd be nice too to get the opinion of your old roomie on the new
I'll guarantee you he just gave a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Talking about Steve Yeager, who for my money was probably one of the quickest behind the plate, moving laterally.
That's sitting way inside 2-0.
And we discovered later on, and Steve was finally told this too, is that pitchers throwing bullpen sessions in spring training, what they call the strings area, they had a pool going to see how many pitches they could throw in the dirt and get past him. And he won out more than they did.
Is that so? Bit high. 3-0 now as Hudson falls behind.
My dandy little roomie. Boomer.
It's not that. I wouldn't call him dandy little anything. And Hudson walks Dalton Kelly. So with 1 out, man aboard. Just brings up the tying run. Hudson looking to bear down now. Try to finish things up against Sheldon Neuse if possible. Stretch by Hudson, and the pitch coming to Neuse. And this one line to right field. That's a base hit. Neuse's hit the ball well tonight. Havens gets it in. Neuse with 3 hits, 2 singles and a double, plus a sacrifice fly. This puts the tying run on base. The Dodgers have seen enough of ties here in spring training. They've had 4 of them. Michael Goldberg, the center fielder. Goldberg, a right-handed batter. Looking out. And a pitch from Hudson. Fastball in. You know, one guy we didn't talk about tonight with the A's. Remember last draft? They drafted a guy by the name of Max Muncy out of Thousand Oaks.
No relation.
No relation. But I'm sure some folks from Southern California, they heard Max Muncy, probably looked twice tonight just because. But again, he was just taken out of high school last year.
What a pickup. The Dodgers version of Max Muncy,
right,
from the A's.
The ironic thing about both Max Muncy's is they have the same birthday, August 25th. What are the odds?
Go figure. Goldberg out of Georgia Tech.
That's where our Nomar Garciaparra went.
Goldberg also wearing the helmet with the double ear flap, which takes some getting used to if you have not done it in the past, because it kind of echoes in there. It's like you're listening to Radio Free Europe.
Is that right?
Well, you don't get the true sounds of the game.
Yeah.
They get somewhat muffled.
I mean, they've come a long way just from, you know, when you just had the skull cap with no ear flaps, then you went to the single, right?
Mm-hmm.
The minor leaguers all have to wear the double flap. Major leaguers can wear them by choice. Like, for example, a guy who re-signed with the A's just this week, Jed Lowry, he'll wear the double ear flap. Major league veteran. One and two. 1 out, 2 on. Top of the 9th. Artaia calls time. And Daniel Hudson holding the ball behind his back. Now has the sign he wants. He comes set. Right-hander checks the runners. And the 1-2 pitch coming. And this one is smacked down the left field line. And that is a foul ball.
That was a hanging breaking ball. And it got smacked. You come out of your shoes as a hitter. You get the hanger, but just out in front of it, hooked it foul.
So Goldberg ready at the plate. And Hudson taking note of what happened on the breaking ball. So see what he comes back with here. 1-2. Fastball, and he fouls it back. Still 1-2. You mentioned he went to Georgia Tech. His freshman year got cut short. He had a shoulder injury. And that sort of changed direction for him after he recovered from that. Last year ended up in advanced A with Lansing in Michigan. And the runner goes from second to third. It gets past Cartaya, and he'll be able to recover it with Hudson covering. So both runners move up. That'll put the tying run in scoring position.
Well, it's another situation also too, Tim, is that the Dodgers, one of the areas that they need to improve upon is keeping runners a little bit close. And for Hudson trying to close things out, he got very focused on just throwing the ball and not really being cognizant of what the runners are doing. And now you've got two guys in scoring position. Double play ball and a ground ball is now removed.
So he started with the changeup grip. See what he finishes with here. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Got him.
After a hanging breaking ball, this is a good location outside corner.
So 2 down. A's down to their last out tonight. Dodgers up 6-4. A grand slam by Drew Avans in the 7th inning. Turned it around for the Dodgers after kind of a sleepy first 5 innings. Edwin Rios with a home run as well tonight. 1 ball, no strikes to Drew Jackson, the shortstop. So he split the game with Kevin Smith. Avans out in right field for the Dodgers right now, hoping his grand slam stands up. A's with a tying run in scoring position. 1-0 pitch way outside, and it's 2-0.
Tyler's getting a full workout behind the plate.
Daniel Hudson has been in some pretty big situations before, including World Series in 2019. One of those guys that can say that they recorded the final out of a World Series. He did it. There's a bounding ball towards short. That is picked up by Valera. Throws onto first, and the Dodgers win. So Avans' grand slam does stand up. Be a save for Hudson. The big night for the Dodgers minor leaguer. And Edwin Rios with a home run as well, as the Dodgers win their 3rd spring training game here in the Cactus League. 6-4 the final score. For Kirsten Watson and Rick Monday, I'm Tim Neverett. Join us again tomorrow night, 5:30. Dodgers will take on the Guardians of Cleveland. Now, stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers is next.